So how did the car accident happen?
It happened. I was on a stop sign, and there was a car turning, and I couldn't see when that car was turning. I couldn't see the other um road. The car was taking my blind spot, and I didn't shut up long enough. Like and he seen
We're
me,
losing your
and
audio. We're losing your audio, Mr. Olenek. We're losing your audio a bit. It's really patchy coming in and out. I get that you didn't mean to have the accident, and from what you're trying to say, you never saw the other car behind the car that was turning. Is that what you're saying?
yes, it was a bike.
But I mean, it was a bicycle?
It was a motorcycle.
My God, I'm glad the guy wasn't killed. Do you know how badly he was hurt?
Uh, he didn't sustain any injuries. None of us did.
This is a miracle. And I don't mean to be funny, but if you can't see, you're not supposed to pull out. You're not
Yeah,
supposed
I
to
know.
pull out until it's 100% clear. That's the whole point.
Yeah,
So if some car is turning, you got to be expecting somebody behind that car before you pull out. And the point is, you're not even supposed to be driving.
yeah.
Was there any alcohol involved at all?
No,
Who was it in your family that died?
my great grandma.
Great grandmother. And was that expected or had she been ill?
She was ill, and they gave her until a month. And I got the
Yeah.
call while I was at community service.
Does she live in the greater Grand Rapids area? Were you able to be there or see, the funeral and all that, or didn't they have one?
No, they did had a funeral. I seen everything.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, you got responsibilities, there's no question, when you have to do community service. And I get that you were having trouble finding your way there, having somebody take you. But you can't just drive when you have no valid license. It's like saying you're shoplifting when you want something but don't have the money. You can't just shoplift. It's illegal. You know it. You can't just drive when you don't have a license. It's illegal and you know it. Even though you're telling me I had to get to community service. Do you get what I'm saying?
Yes.
Mr. Stoner, what would you like to say about Mr. Oliniak?
Thank you, Your Honor. Mr. Oliniak, truly, other than a couple bumps while on probation for it's actually 4 months today, has been very productive. He's completed community service at this time. He's also completed his counseling classes at this time. He did have a new charge of driving while license suspended. Right now, this is alleged. He's set for pretrial on October 27th. But after speaking with you about this new charge that he admitted to me on August 12th, he just told me about it. We decided we'd have him come in for a hearing with you. Since being set for this hearing on August 21st, he has admitted to smoking marijuana in the second week of September and admitted actually to me reality counseling where he drug test. They caught him using a device to pass off a different urine. He states it was his own clean urine. And then he did test without any device or without trying to get around anything and was positive for marijuana. Your Honor, we've talked about this. He's been very honest and open with me about his use and what's going on. And with him being so early on probation at this time, I would honestly continue probation. I recommend that we continue probation and just have him complete an additional 40 hours of work crew as an intermediate sanction, Your Honor.
Well, Mr. Oliniak, you don't have very many probation officers that will speak that highly about what you're doing and how you're doing it, even though you've made some slip-ups. There's no question you've had slip-ups here, and you're no dummy. What age are you right now?
25.
Well, that in anybody's book is an adult.
Yep.
So you got to figure out how you're going to get yourself on track. There are people that go to jail for violating their probation, clearly. Mr. Stoner is not recommending that here, and that's to your huge benefit. I am going to continue your probation. I'm going to give you 40 hours of work crew, but I'm really going to expect that you not slip up. I sometimes say you got to be squeaky clean. Squeaky clean. If you
All right.
violate, you drop the ball, then you get jail time. That's the way it works. So it's on you. It's totally on you. It's not on anybody else. I add the 40 hours of work crew instead of giving you any jail now. But I want you to be clear that we just ask you to complete your probation successfully. When I say squeaky clean, no criminal cases, no violations. Are you with me?
Yep.
All right. That's all I need for you right now, Mr. Oliniak. They're going to contact you. Mr. Stoner will contact you to have you contact the person to set up the work crew. Don't mess up. All right?
All right.
All right, that's it. Thank you for your courtesy.
Yep. Thank you.
Okay, is it Mr. Guzman?
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Guzman, I'm Judge Sara Smolenski, and I
Good
have you
morning,
in
Mr.
front of me on your case, that goes back to the arrest from June 6th, 2019 out of East Grand Rapids, when you were charged in the area near Breton and Berwick with operating under the influence of alcohol, high BAC. Do you remember the case or
Yes,
bits of
ma'am.
it? Yeah,
Yes, bits of it, yes, ma'am.
bits of it. So now what they have you in front of me for is what they call a probation violation, where they allege you have a new charge of operating while intoxicated, second offense. And the date on this one they're talking about was May of this year, already now 5 months ago. The new case is considered to be a probation violation. Probation is something you either pass or fail. If you're asked to pay fines, you're asked to do community service, you're asked to not have any criminal cases, you're asked to do counseling, classes. If you falter in any of those areas, they call it a failure. Probation violation. Here you can either plead guilty or not guilty. If you want to talk with somebody, you have the right to have an attorney to talk to and discuss the case with, and you have a right to have a hearing. If you plead not guilty, you can have a hearing to determine did you violate your probation or did you not. It's kind of like a trial, but it's not the same as being charged with a criminal offense. It is a probation violation. Can you think of any questions for me, Mr. Guzman?
No, honestly, no, ma'am. You're very
No
straightforward.
questions. Straightforward. So as to the probation violation, indicating that you had a new criminal charge during the period of time that you're on probation, do you want to plead guilty or not guilty to that?
To the criminal charge or to the probation violation, ma'am?
No, just to the probation violation. I'm not
Yes,
talking
ma'am.
about the criminal charge itself.
Yes,
Is
ma'am.
that criminal charge over with or is it still going?
It's still pending, yeah. Yes,
Okay,
ma'am.
Yes, Your Honor.
so there's not a resolution to it at this point. Do you have an attorney on that, Mr. Guzman?
I am working on that at the moment right now, ma'am.
It's a OWI second, isn't it?
Yes, ma'am.
Well, I think we should appoint an attorney to represent you if you don't have one.
Yeah, I was.
Because on that OWI second, that has its own, set of information that you need to be aware of before you make a final decision on that.
Yes,
And then they're
ma'am.
also saying you missed appointments. They're saying you didn't pay for all your fines. They're saying you tested positive. There's about 4 different areas, separate and apart from the new charge. And really, you're presumed innocent on the new charge. You're
Yes.
presumed innocent on that. If it's not done, you're still presumed innocent. But then they're looking at other violations that you had too, missed appointments, not paying all your monies, testing positive for marijuana. Why don't you do this? Why don't you talk to the attorney that's going to be appointed to you on the OWI second?
Mhm.
And then talk to them about this probation violation, completely separate. We'll just say not guilty on this, just like we're saying not guilty on the OWI second.
Okay.
And then you look into it with your attorney, because I think you need to be appointed an attorney. I'm not trying to be scary in any way. I just want to be totally honest with you. when you have a new charge like a OWI second, if that ends up as a conviction, the chances are higher that you'd get some short-term jail sentence on that, because on a first-time drunk driving, we don't usually give a jail sentence. It depends on the factual circumstances. I mean, if it's a bad car accident or somebody gets hurt, it's different. But if it's a second offense, routinely, the judges at our court will do a short-term jail sentence. So you don't have an attorney on that other case, correct?
No, ma'am, not yet. I'm
Yeah.
in the works of trying to get a court-appointed attorney.
Yeah, we'll do that. I'll do that. So we'll appoint an attorney to represent you on both.
Thank
Your
you.
Honor,
Yes?
it looks like on July 20th, when he was arraigned, he was assigned attorney of public defender, Mr. Kurt Oberholzer.
It looks like you might have one, and is that for that OWI second?
That's correct, Your Honor.
We're going to double check on that OWI second. It looks like the public defender's office might be already representing you on that. I'm going to have them be made aware of this PV as well.
Okay.
So just stay in contact. Is the address we have good?
What's the address?
Can you give it to me again, Amanda? Just say the address. Ford Avenue? Florida Avenue?
4953
Yes.
Southwest.
4953 Florida Avenue, Wyoming.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay,
That's a good address.
just look for any mail on that. Just look for any mail. If there's any questions, you contact us or talk to your probation officer, Mr. Stoner.
Okay. And I had talked to Mr. Stoner about the mailing problem that we had.
About the mailing problem?
Yes, because
Okay.
my neighbors were getting all my mail for a long period of time. So I didn't,
Because we
wasn't-
thought the number was off, or just the mailman's doing the
Yeah.
wrong thing?
the number was off by one. It was supposed to be 203, not 204. And
Oh, that's like an apartment number.
yes,
So you're 203.
yes.
All right,
that's-
we'll make sure,
We've updated that, Your Honor.
we'll make sure that's updated then.
Yeah. And
Okay,
I
thank
just-
you, Mr. Guzman.
Thank you, ma'am.
Okay. All right, we're switching gears a little bit to Mr. Rademacher. Mr. Rademacher, can you hear me from Ionia County on the Zoom? Okay, Matthew Rademacher, I'm Judge Sara Smolenski. Can you hear me okay?
Yes, ma'am.
All right.
I wasn't able to speak to my public defender, ma'am.
Okay, that's fine. We'll put you in a separate room so you guys can talk for a minute.
Okay.
All right.